Hello everyone, welcome to my video. Today I will tell you a few tips how you can protect your mental health from the negative effects of social media. Social media can cause distraction, short focus spam, comparison. We start comparing our lives with the perfect version of the other people's lives that we see on social media, and this can lead to anxiety. We start feeling bad about ourselves. We start doubting our lives. We feel like something is wrong with us if we are not that pretty, if we are not that successful. But we don't see, or our brain doesn't realize at the moment that those people are sharing the best of their lives, and we cannot compare our normal lives with the best of what we see on social media. Also, using social media, for example, before sleep or after waking up, can cause sleeping problems. Not mentioning that social media is addictive for our brain. So often we can find ourselves mindlessly scrolling, just looking for those, dopamine boosts by seeing a like or a comment or something. So yeah, it requires a lot of mindfulness, especially now at 21st century when social media is just essential part of our lives. So tip number one that really works for me is work with notifications. So I have my notifications off for all of my messaging apps, for WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, and also emails. So I have it off, and at certain specific times of the day, I check all these apps, and that's only when I respond. Because when you suddenly see a pop-up notification on your phone that someone messaged you, that will immediately distract you. It will take your focus from the activity that you are doing to something else. And this is a perfect way how you can become it can be really hard for you to stay focused on the things that you want to do, and you may result in not achieving the things that you want to achieve and not finishing tasks. If you don't feel good about having your notifications off for the whole time of your day, you can work with that and turn them off when you do not want to be disturbed, for example, when you go to work, and then you can turn them on again when you are expecting a message from someone, for example. But my life is so much better when my notifications are off, honestly. Tip number 2, limit or don't use social media right after waking up and right before going to sleep, because you are in someone else's energy when you are checking social media. Your brain is distracted, your brain is confused, and before you go to sleep you want to have like a proper sleeping routine full of rest, calming down, connecting to yourself, and not putting your energy out there somewhere in the virtual world. Also, after you wake up, that's the time when your subconscious is the most active. And if the first thing that you do is grabbing your phone and checking who's messaging you, or like checking your emails and immediately responding, this can cause stress, and you don't have the time for yourself that you need in the morning. What I do, as I said, I have my notifications for all my messaging apps off. I also have do not disturb on my phone setup, and only after my morning routine, after my breakfast, when I'm ready, fully awake for the day, I then allow the stress to come into my life. I turn on the notifications or I check the apps, and then I respond to all those people. But the time before is my me time. And this works very well for me and for my mental health. Tip number 3, unfollow unapologetically and frequently. And this is my favorite thing to do. I often go through my Instagram or Facebook and I unfollow those people whose message I don't resonate with anymore. Or anytime I see a post that doesn't make me feel good about myself, either I start comparing myself to that person, or I start feeling like I'm doing something wrong. For example, in my business, I follow some business mentor and he's saying something I don't resonate with or I feel bad about, I just unfollow. I only follow a few people that really inspire me, that bring well-being, the feelings of well-being in my life, and whose content is real and feel really good about myself. A note about your ex-boyfriends. It's okay to unfollow your ex-boyfriend. And actually, this might be a thing that you want to do. Because after you break up, you still have the thoughts about your ex-boyfriend. It may be like hard for you. So the best thing for your mental health would be to kind of avoid seeing them. But if constantly you see that their posts on social media, they are still in your head and it's hard for you to let it go. So it's better to unfollow them. If you feel like you want to block them, whatever works for you. Just follow your intuition in this case. That brings me to a tip number 4, block. So I know that many people say, oh, you should handle critique. But when there's someone on your social media commenting hatred and negative stuff, just throwing at you, don't feel afraid to block them. You don't want this negativity in your life and you don't need it. Not everyone has the privilege to benefit from your beautiful energy. Tip number 5, be very mindful. Be mindful, how often do you grab your phone and start scrolling mindlessly? When you open, for example, Instagram, you start messaging someone. This happens to me a lot. I want to message someone, but suddenly I see a story from someone else and I just click and I'm thinking, oh, I will just see what's happening here. And then half an hour later, I find myself like mindlessly, scrolling and whatever, I don't know. What really helped me to observe my patterns regarding social media was 1 week social media detox that I did 2 weeks ago. And I didn't allow myself use social media more than 40 minutes per day, including messaging to people. So I just use it about 15 minutes in the morning and then 30 minutes in the evening, including posting on my business page. And when I was doing this social media detox, I found myself so often just having the reflex of grabbing my phone and opening the app. And I had to like stop myself and say, oh my God, and you're doing it again. Like, come on. It's just a habit. Like we are doing it, mindlessly. But if we do social media detox, it's a great way how to be mindful of this habit and get rid of them. So often we use social media for distracting us from what we feel. So when we feel bad about something, when we feel sad, we know that a dose of dopamine and serotonin is just, we just need to grab the phone and we have it. So we often distract ourselves in this way. But how about we tune more into ourselves for answers or for relief in this case, instead of going outward to the social media? So my tip number 6 would be go on a social media detox. And this is just for you to experiment how it is, how your brain behaves when you are not on social media, because suddenly you will realize that you have so much time, or that you are not distracted constantly, or that you look within for the answers, or that you connect to yourself more, or that you have suddenly so much time to do activities that you've always wanted to do, or that you find inspiration within. And you can do social media detox for 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month if you want, and you will see how your brain comes back into acting differently. The most surprising thing for me when I was on social media detox was how calm I felt. I suddenly felt like I have time. I suddenly felt like I can hear myself clearly, and it was amazing. Tip number 7, don't feel guilty about using social media. So I know that I and many other people are telling you that social media are bad and you should avoid it and blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, sometimes you can just allow yourself to, scroll mindlessly or to get inspiration on social media. And if you use social media correctly, it can be a source of like amazing tips and knowledge and inspiration packed in very entertaining way. So don't feel guilty if you mindfully use social media. Just observe when it already becomes too much for you, and then parent yourself to take the necessary actions. Tip number 8, don't feel guilty about not being on social media. So if you feel like you want to kind of distract yourself from the world, you want to get more quiet, be without social media, come back to it, just listen to yourself in this case. It's okay not to be updated about every news there is about a war, about politics, the important things that you need to know will always get to you. You don't have to be worried that you will miss out on something really important if you are not every hour on social media. Tip number 9, monitor your screen time. And our last tip is focus on self-care. Having a practice that connects you to your inner guidance is essential. I recommend journaling or exercising, jogging, meditation, or anything that doesn't involve any distractions from the outside. Don't forget, not only live uh, in the virtual world on social media, but also contact your friends and spend time with your loved ones physically. So that are all my tips for you. If you have any other tips that help you protect your mental health from the negative effects of social media, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. And if you like this video, feel free to share it with your loved ones and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any other videos. And I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye bye. Have a good day.